hey, if you're a US citizen and you want to protect your retirement and you haven't got our free ebook yet, then you're really missing out. So click on the link in the description and find out how you can secure your retirement and your future today. Hi, Wim. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Got some great information for you guys before you start your intro.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, go, please. Enlighten us.
This month, what I got from my sources, and this is not Charlie, because Charlie is very quiet, and that's good. But this could be a very, very significant month in history.
Okay. Are we looking out for anything particular, or
have you heard about the EBS?
EBS? No, I don't think so.
You know what it is?
No.
There's going to be an intervention from the good guys in the world. Could be this month, before Christmas.
Okay.
Be nice.
So
yeah, great.
We're looking for that. All the signs are leading. Hunter Biden had to go to court before the 13th of December. If he's not coming, he will be arrested, including his father.
Okay.
That would be nice.
That's on Fox News.
Oh, it's actually been on Fox News.
On the mainstream media. I posted a lot. You know, my channel exploded from 43,000 to 127,000 followers in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, some good info.
Do you know, there's a lot happening at the minute, though, isn't there? There's a lot happening. I mean, I struggle to try and keep up with it. There's so much information, that's just within the metals world, in the finance world.
Money-wise, it's almost. I'm following that right now, and I can tell you, there's a lot of things coming out. Gold is going to be. They say when the quantum financial system is coming, could be over to 10,000 an ounce.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. I mean, I think look, for us, we just want to give our experience of stuff that we've learned for ourselves, that we do for ourselves. We tell you what we do and why we do it. And then it's over to you if you want to do the same. Metals have always served us very well and still do to this day. And yeah, if we can help people with that, then great. I think we all agree 2024 is going to be a turbulent year, to say the least.
Yeah.
And we, for ourselves, just want to be protected. And we just don't want to be on that roller coaster ride of emotions. We just want to take ourselves out and know that we're protected and we're independent of the system, whatever the result is.
Yes.
So it's the number one priority, Adam, isn't it? That's number one. That's right at the top of the list by far. It's not the growth, it's the independence. That's the key point. Being independent of everything. So no matter what happens, we're not within it. We've stepped out of it. So whatever happens, we're good. Our families are good. That's the main thing. But we're not here to advise as usual, Wim. We always have to say this. We're not here to advise or tell people what to do. We're just here to share information. People can either take it or leave it, you know, but it's good stuff. We've been purchasing precious metals for 10 years now. Well, I have personally. Adam's, what, 8-9 years is it, Adam, now?
Yeah, something like that.
And it's easy for us to, well, it's easy for us to say because we've seen the results. We've felt the results, you know, and we've learned a lot along that journey. And we're just sharing that with people to help them make the same journey if they wish to, if they want to become independent of the system. But yeah, and not make too many mistakes like we did initially. So we're trying to make that journey a lot shorter for people. Yeah, get all them questions answered, which we didn't have answered at the beginning. We had to go digging at them, didn't we, to find out the answers.
Made them a lot of mistakes along the way.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it easier for people to actually start that journey and purchase precious metals, you know, and be in a better place financially.
Yeah,
I'm happy with it. I'm also happy that you told me before we start recording that you're going to share today, Adam and James. You're going to share to my followers the secrets that the 1% knows and the normal people like us don't know. So
yeah, this is it. Let me just give you the elevator pitch on metals. And I say that because some people might have never heard of us before. They might never watch us. They might say, well, metals, why would I even buy metals? Here's the very short version of that is when you have paper money and you put it in a bank, The bank owns it and controls it and tells you what you can and can't do with it. Do your own research on this. We've got many accounts of banks controlling what people do with what is seemingly their own money. Also, paper money over time is designed to lose value through inflation. It goes down in value as governments and countries print more and more money. That devalues the money. So you're working hard for this money, but the money's not working hard for you. It's losing value. What we've got into a situation now is banks have borrowed, countries have borrowed money. They've printed money, created it, borrowed it. It has to be paid back with interest. And the key bit is with interest. So they've got to pay back, or we as the people have got to pay back more than was borrowed. And it gets to a point, and is at that point now, where just to cover the repayments of that money, they're borrowing more money to cover the repayments of the old loans. And that is where things go south very quickly. And that's the situation we're in. Again, please do your own research. Don't trust what we're saying. I'm sure you'll find the same. We choose to take our paper money out of a bank where it's losing value and not in our control, and we put it in physical metals, gold and silver. The reason for that is the complete opposite of what the bank's doing. We own and control it. We legally own it. We can do whatever we want with it. And over time, metal performs better than paper money. So as paper money is going down in value, gold is maintaining its value over time. And it gives us some independence from the banking system, come what may, with different currencies and different things around the world. So that's the real short version. What we want to go through today is we're going to answer the top 15 questions that will put you in the top 1% of people buying metals. It will really make you understand what you're looking for when you're starting this journey. So 15 points, we're going to whiz through them. You might need to watch this video a couple of times to get all the points, but all key points.
If we'd have had all these questions answered when we started, we would be in a better place today. So it's important that we go through this, you know? No doubt.
So here's the questions. Should I buy gold or silver? Should I buy coins or bars? Is jewelry a good investment? We get asked that sometimes. Should I store metals at home, in the vault, or somewhere else? Do I have to pay VAT on silver? How do you know the metals are real?
Yeah,
there's always a big question, especially coming up to Christmas. Chocolate coins. How do you know it's not a chocolate coin? It's a real coin. Should I buy allocated or unallocated? What does that even mean? Big point there. How much should I purchase? How do I sell metals if I need cash? Something a lot of people don't even consider because it's at the other end of their investment. Are metals insured? What purity of metal should I buy? What tax do I have to pay on metals? A big topic there. What size of bar should I buy? Can I buy with crypto? And which brand of metals do I buy? We are going to cover and answer all of those questions. So are you strapped in, Wim? Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Okay. So the first one, look, should I buy gold or silver? Well, a few different schools of thought on this. Some people have a preference straight out the gate. They say, look, I really like gold and I really want gold. And if you've got a bias on that, then that's fine. What we like to do is we like to quantify and give an actual quantifiable reason as to why we would buy gold or why we would buy silver. And we'll talk about it in more detail in another video because we can explain it in a lot more detail. But we use something called the gold-silver ratio. And what that does is it compares the price of gold with the price of silver. And it tells us which metal is cheap compared to the other one. Okay, so it tells us which metal to buy to get a good deal, good value for money. And because for us personally, we buy every 2 weeks. That's what we do. It's not something we just say, hey, gold and silver are great, go and do it. We say, look, this is what we do for ourselves. So we use this gold-silver ratio, and that tells us what is the best value for money looking at the two metals side by side. It's actually very easy to determine, but it gives us a quantitative reason as to say, look, this is why. And the reason we do it like that is because, look, I might say, oh, I have a good feeling about gold. And James might say, well, I have a good feeling about silver, but feelings change. But if we're both looking at the same information, we would both make the same decision. And that's because there is reason behind the decision. There is data that says, look, this is good value for money. Does that make sense?
When we first started out, we just winged it, Adam, didn't we? We just bought whatever. We had no idea
I
what
knew
was
more
best to
about
buy.
gold than I did silver, so I bought gold, 100%.
Yeah.
Now we actually change our purchases depending on this gold-silver ratio. So you don't have to work out this out. You can just put it into your search engine, gold-silver ratio, and it will come out with one number. Today, I think the number's 85.
85, yeah.
For us, anything over 80 is silver territory. So we would buy 100% silver, anything over 80. So
I'll just add something to that, Adam. I'll add something to that, because we get this question all the time. It's a very popular question when people are first starting out. Yeah. When you understand the gold-silver ratio and you've maybe watched some of our videos down the line and you understand it, then you'd be better to use that then. But just to get started, don't get too tied up on it. I always say to people, look, the main thing is you've got metals.
Yes.
The main thing, the most important thing is you've got gold and silver rather than paper in a bank. That's the main thing right now, you know?
Yeah.
Most of our customers, I wouldn't say most, but many of them start out just 50-50 initially, just to get started.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, please don't sit on the fence too long trying to work out the gold-silver ratio and understand it. Just get started. Metals is better than money, whether it's gold or silver.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're talking about a bit more detail here because we do get asked. But if you've moved from paper to metals, you're already winning. So
you want to win, aren't you?
Yeah. I think maybe the next video that we do, Wim, we'll talk about the gold-silver ratio, and we don't give many promises, but we guarantee that will be something people have never heard of, and it will blow their mind. It blew our mind when we heard about it, and what you can do with it. But more of that for next time. So this is gold or silver. The next one is, should I buy bars or coins? Now, a lot of people ask us, well, you know, is it better to buy a coin? Is it better to buy a bar? Are coins better to trade because they're circular, they look like money? I think, look, if we get down to it depends how far on the apocalyptic scale that you go. If you go to the very end where we're going to be trading metals for food, for goods and services, then whether it's a circle or a rectangle or a triangle, it doesn't matter in our opinion. It's metal and that's it. As far as an investment goes, usually you pay a premium for coins, usually. Okay. Because people have to, you know, there's a certain image on there, there's a certain year, certain date, blah blah blah. There's more to it as far as the manufacturing process. But there can come some advantages as far as not paying capital gains tax on the sale of certain coins. We're not tax advisors. We don't give tax advice or any advice at all. But for most people, in our experience, they never actually benefit from that tax-free, capital gains-free feature. They never actually benefit from it. So they're paying for something that they don't actually benefit from. In our experience, most people are better with bars, generally speaking. More flexibility, and it seems to be a better option for most people. However,
you get more metal for your money, don't you? You get more metal for your money.
Generally. Yeah. That's not to say that we don't have coins. We have a few coins, not many, but we have a few for ourselves. So again, if you get in metals and not paper, you're winning, whether it's in a coin or a bar. But if you're drilling down to the details, in our experience, bars tend to be better for most people. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's difficult. When we first started, we'd go on certain websites and look for metals, and there were so many options. It was like overwhelming. Where do you start? There's gold bars, there's gold coins, there's silver bars, there's silver coins, there's certain years, there's investment coins, there's collectible coins, and it's like overwhelm.
And all the different manufacturers. There's so many different manufacturers. You think, oh, where do I start?
Yeah. So we would say bars tend to be the best for most people. Okay. So is jewelry a good investment? The short answer is no. Jewelry is not a good investment, and here's why. the purity of the jewelry is usually less than the top grade. We only buy the top grade for gold. It's the 4 nines, 999.9% pure. And with jewelry, it's usually less than that. Also, look how pretty jewelry is. You know, it's all these intricate shapes and intricate pieces, and it's all very, very nice. Well, somebody has to put time and effort into making it like that. It's not just a bar. So if someone's had to put time and effort into it, then someone has to pay for that time, and that's the consumer. Whoever's buying it is paying for that person's time. So buying jewelry as an investment is not a great idea. Obviously, buy jewelry for other reasons, no problem. But as an investment, it's not the most efficient. Okay. Wim, if you have any questions about any of this, please interrupt us. We'll just keep.
I'm listening. I'm learning.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So should I store metals at home, in the vault, or somewhere else? We always talk about, there was a case, a guy in Australia called us up and said, look, I want this size bar of gold, just this size bar, nothing else. I'm going to bury it in the garden. And we said, okay, no problem. It's your metal, it's your garden, you know, entirely up to you. What we always say with anything like this is do it with your eyes open. So be aware of the outcomes, the possibilities, the pros, the cons, and everything in between. Personally, I know when James started, he would have all his metals at home.
In his socks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
in his socks, in his pocket.
Yeah.
And the whole point of buying metals is that you are more financially secure and you feel more protected.
Safe and secure. Yeah.
But by having a lot at home, you start to feel not so secure. And it kind of does the opposite effect of what you set out to do.
Yeah, I lived through that, and that's exactly how I felt. Yeah.
Yeah, James always says,
didn't want to leave the house.
He didn't want to leave the house because he left all his metals. Or the other alternative is, does he take all his metals everywhere he goes? Which is not a good option either.
Which I was doing. It was just getting heavier and heavier. It's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke to a customer recently, Wim.
Yes.
Just literally a few days ago, and I think he's wanting to purchase about 90,000 euros worth of metals, and he was like, "Can I have them all shipped to my home in Northern Ireland?" And we said, "Yes, of course you can. You can do what you want.
They're your
would
metals.
You feel comfortable? Yeah, they're your metals, but would you feel comfortable having them in your home?" And he was silent for a while, and he was like, "Good point. No, I wouldn't be.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be at all. I wouldn't feel safe and secure." So yeah,
this is the point. Do it with your eyes open. If you have metals at home, or if let's say this, if you have a large amount of metals at home, then you've got the security, the risk. The other thing that we'll touch on is insurance. Very, very difficult to get metals insured at home. More on that in another point. Also, when you want to sell the metals, you have to take them somewhere. It's a physical thing. You have to, there's some involvement in going to sell them. Where do you take them to? What price do they give you? You have to navigate the other end of your investment yourself. Us personally, we have 99% of our metals stored in third-party vaults. These are high secure vaults with independent companies. They are audited by the vaults themselves, and then they're also independently audited as well. And what this does is it gives us flexibility and peace of mind. So peace of mind that they're not with us. We have people saying that they're moving countries or moving house and they've got the metals with them. They have to navigate that on their own. If we have metals in the vault, it doesn't matter where we move or what we do. And we can sell them within a few clicks.
Yeah.
Because they're a known entity. They're audited and all this stuff that goes with it. So bear all that in mind when you're making the decision.
Right.
VAT. So VAT is a sales tax. VAT, the percentage in the UK is 20%. I think in most countries it's 19, 20, 25%, around that mark. What is it for you, Wim, VAT, sales tax?
I don't know. In the Netherlands?
Yeah, like 23, 25, something like that.
Maybe in the same rates, 21% or something.
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. Yeah, makes sense. So when you, this is a huge, I guess, not mistake, but lesson that we learned. When you buy silver or any of the white metals, silver, palladium, or platinum, and you have them in your hand, so you choose to store them at home, you have to pay this VAT, this sales tax, at 20, 21, 25%. If you store them in just a normal kind of vault, again, you still have to pay the sales tax. And it's just a tax, it's just a cost. The metal's no shinier when you've paid the VAT. You know, it looks the same. We found a solution that if you store the metals in something called a bonded warehouse, which is a certain type of vault, think of it like a vault in a duty-free zone, you don't have to pay this tax.
Okay.
So you can get 20, 21%, 25% more for your money just for knowing where to store your metals. This is a huge thing.
Legally.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah. And it can make your investment go even further. And as long as the metal stays in that vault, you don't ever have to pay this tax. So when you sell your metals, again, if you sell them while they're still in the vault, which we can help people do, very, very easy, again, you never have to pay this tax. So
win-win.
I just wish I knew that 10 years ago.
Yeah. Say again, Wim.
That's a win-win situation.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. This is another thing I explained to that customer recently in Northern Ireland. I explained this to him, and he was like, I think he was a bit shocked by it. Think, oh wow, massive saving.
Yeah.
You know.
Another thing that we'll touch about on the next video when we talk about the gold-silver ratio and something called switching is the company that we buy metals with, we have a possibility to switch between metals. So let's say we hold silver in the vault.
Yes.
And we want to get our metals delivered to our home. Okay. We've not paid any VAT because the silver was in the vault. Fine, no problem. The day that we take the silver out of the vault to get it delivered, the VAT is due. Okay. And it's not due on the price, on the value that we bought it. It's due on the price that it is on the day it comes out. So you could buy it for $20 an ounce, and today it could be $25 an ounce. You are paying the tax on the $25 an ounce price. So you could pay even more tax if it's gone up in value. Crazy. Here's the feature that we have access to. We can switch between metals. So here's what we do. We want to get silver delivered. We say, well, we don't want to take silver out of the vault because the VAT will be due. So we switch our silver to gold, and there's no VAT on gold. And then we get the gold delivered
instead.
And then we navigate this whole VAT, this whole tax, and we never have to pay it.
And you don't just save that, Wim. You don't just save on the tax. You save on the weight too. Because if you had silver delivered, the weight of that, compared to the weight of the same amount in value of gold, is tiny.
A lot less.
So you'd save two ways.
Yeah. Sorry, Wim, you were saying before?
Yeah, sorry, Wim, yeah.
No, it's okay. I've got my answer.
Yeah. So this is, what you don't know in the financial world does hurt you. And we didn't know this, and it hurt us, and we just want to pass it on that, look, there is a way how you don't have to get hurt. You don't have to pay unnecessary taxes, unnecessary fees, if you're smart and you know what you're doing. So, okay, next point.
Most of the 1% doesn't even pay any taxes.
Exactly. And this is why we're investing in gold and silver like the top 1%, because they know how to work the system. They know the rules of the game. Yeah. So how do you know the metals are real? We were told when we first started buying metals, there was a bank in Germany that was selling metals. They were selling coins, actually, and those coins were fake coins. But the bank didn't know that they were fake. And if you're not in the metals business, which banks aren't, they're simply just selling different things to people, you could easily buy metals that aren't the real deal. The way that we do it is we only buy from LBMA certified refineries. What does that mean? The LBMA is the London Bullion Market Association, and they regulate and benchmark the precious metals market. 70% of that runs through London. So that's why London and it's the London Bullion Market, because that's where all the traffic flows. The London Bullion Market Association, they set very, very high criteria and they do it for the whole supply chain. So looking at the mining, how it's coming out of the ground, that there's no child soldiers that are being used, that the refinery process meets all the criteria. And for a refinery to be an LBMA refinery is the top in the world. And if they fall short of these criteria and they lose this status, it's devastating for their business. So we just only buy from LBMA certified refineries, of which there's a few. We'll go through that at the end when we talk about the different brands. But that is how you can be sure that the metals are what they say they are. Okay, should I buy allocated or unallocated? Have you heard about this before, Wim? Allocated and unallocated?
I get in layman terms, so that means?
Say again, sorry?
Can you explain this to me and for my followers what this means in layman terms?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Of course.
So we'd never heard of this before when we started. And what it means is there's different ways of buying metals. Let's take one scenario, which is you buy 10 grams of gold from a company. You don't know which 10 grams you've bought, but they just say, yes, you have 10 grams with us. We're storing it. We're keeping it. And when you want it, just let us know. We'll send you 10 grams. But you don't know which 10 grams. And therefore, you are not the legal owner of that metal.
Okay.
Because that company just needs to produce 10 grams when you want it delivered. In theory, they don't need to have that 10 grams actually with them. I could say to you, Wim, very easily, oh, you want to buy 10 grams? Yeah, I've got 10 grams here. Send me your money. I'll store it for you. Don't worry. Well, which 10 grams have I got? Yeah, don't worry. When you want it, we'll send it to you. I don't need to have that metal here. That for us is too close to how banks work.
Yeah,
too close.
You put your money in a bank.
Exactly.
They say, don't worry, we'll look after it. Yeah, but is it still there? Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, but how have these people got loans from the bank and mortgages? Because I've put my money in. Are you lending my money? Yeah, don't worry about it. As soon as you want your money, we'll give it to you. That's too close to how banks work for us.
Yeah.
The way we do it is we have 100% allocated metals, and that means we are the legal owner of those metals. Nobody else.
Perfect.
So we know the exact serial bar number of the bar that we own. So if anything happens, we can say, yep, it's this bar, and this bar, and no one else can take it. And that is a huge thing, because some companies will say, yeah, it's unallocated. Oh, we'll give you free storage, or it'll be cheaper this and cheaper that. There's a corner being cut somewhere. We would rather pay. If you have to pay for storage, that means you own something in the storage. Yeah, because you've got to pay for where it lives. Yeah. If you don't have to pay for the storage, then do you really own what's there? This is a big question to ask. So 100% allocated in our legal name. It's the only way we do it. We don't want anything else. If metals are your financial insurance, don't cut corners on your insurance.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, good point.
Great point. It's very important.
Very important. And
yeah,
we didn't know all of this. One gold dealer next to another. In the beginning, we wouldn't know the difference. Whereas now we look at everything through a magnifying glass. We want to really see.
Yeah. We did so much research, Adam, didn't we, comparing gold companies and bullion dealers, and sometimes people would come to us, oh, what about this bullion dealer? It might look cheap on the surface, or they're saying they're buying the metals at this price, and when we were like looked into it, and it was well, you can't be, because it's below spot price. That's impossible. And then you notice that the metals were different qualities. They weren't 999.9. They weren't investment grade metals.
We'll come to that in a second. We've got the
sorry,
one of those points. Okay, so next one. How much should I purchase? There's a few different, I guess, thoughts on this. Here's our rules on buying metals. The funds that we have available need to tick 3 boxes. And those boxes are that the funds are unallocated funds. We're not buying metals with funds that we need for groceries. Yeah, they're unallocated funds. And they also need to be funds that we are happy to put away for the long term. let's say 4 or 5 years plus. The longer, the better. And the third one is that they need to be otherwise just kind of sat around gathering dust. Okay. Let me explain each one of those just in a little bit more detail. So unallocated, if you have a need for these funds in 6 months' time and you decide to buy metals with those funds, what you're saying is you're putting pressure on your investment and the gold market in general and saying, I need these metals to perform in the next 6 months. And it may come as a surprise, but that's not how investments work. They don't run on your time frame. So allow yourself plenty of time and that they're not allocated, and it just makes the whole journey so much nicer and easier. For the long term is because there's ups, downs and everything in between, but generally metals over the long term have a positive return over the long term. And the fact that we say that the funds would be just gathering dust or just kind of sat not doing much is we don't think it's a good idea for people to be borrowing money, taking out loans or going into debt to buy metals. We do have people asking us about that, and it just doesn't, for us, it doesn't seem like a positive step forward. Again, it puts pressure on your investments and your whole financial position. And yeah, so that's how we do it and why we do it.
The best thing to do is buy them as soon as you can. You know, the only wrong time is tomorrow, I've always said.
Yeah.
Buy them as soon as you can and sit on them. And, you know, the sooner you buy them, you know, and then time is your friend. The longer you hold them without selling them, the better. This is why we always say, don't put too much in. Don't try and sell your house, your dog, your kids, your car, and put it all in and expect it to, you know, don't put that pressure on yourself. Just put in what you can afford to put in.
Yeah.
What you can afford to leave alone for a good few years. The longer, the better. And you're good. You're good. Just be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I told a friend of mine about the last video we did. I said, you know, what those guys are saying is that it's hitting home. If you put, say, rent on the bank and you get 5% interest, it's what you explained to me in the last video. But there is also
inflation.
There's a big inflation going in every country right now. You say your money will vaporize eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Same in
That's
Turkey.
the way it's designed. It's normal. That's what it's supposed to do. Great for transacting, but not for saving.
And look at Turkey at the moment.
Yeah.
40% interest rates. You might say, wow, what a great opportunity. I put my money in a Turkish bank. I get 40% interest, you know, in Turkish lira. Yeah, but the inflation rate is 60%.
Yeah.
So
always in that country.
You're still underwater. You know, there's always a gap between the interest and inflation. So as tempting as the interest rate looks, you're losing. Believe it or not, you're losing.
You'll never save yourself to financial security, financial independence. Never.
Very true. Very true. You just can't do it. So
even people right now, because they are following me, and I'm very keen on the financial market and also on the crypto market. I say if everybody in this kind of business know Dan Pena. By the way, do you know Dan Pena, guys?
Yeah.
And he is saying about Bitcoin is going to be vaporized in 1 second in the future, very near future. And he's saying you have to get rid of your Bitcoins and put it in stable coins. Because you can lose everything in 1 second.
Well, the good thing about metals is
it's physical.
Yeah, it's physical. It's a real thing. It can't go anywhere. You know, not many people would say this, Wim, but metals are a very boring investment. Okay, very, very boring. You buy them, they sit in a cold, dark room, and they gather dust. They do nothing. There's no moving parts. They're not as sexy as crypto, or maybe, you know, investing in this startup company and maybe it'll go to the moon. But they're really, really consistent and really, really solid. And they're real. You can touch them. You can have them delivered. You can have them in your hand. And that's why we like them. With all of the uncertainty that's going on in the world, we want something certain to help us weather the storm and live to fight another day. This is what it's all about. Protecting.
And we're not here to knock crypto, by the way, because we both have some crypto, haven't we, Adam?
Yeah.
I've got XRP myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's all about having the right tool for the job.
Yeah.
And metals do the job of securing and protecting better than anything we've ever seen, and they're accessible to the masses.
We just feel much safer having metals, don't we, or anything else, really.
Yeah.
And that's why we went down this lane many years ago. And this is why we decided on metals. You know, because many people we would do back in the day. We used to write a lot of financial plans for families, and once we'd helped them get out of debt, with what we know, with what we teach, then they'd ask us, well, where do we put our money now? And this is where the metals came from. We looked into metals, and that's where it all began. And we just saw the strength and the security and the safety you get from metals. And how easy it was to do for every family, no matter how much money you've got. You don't have to have thousands of pounds or euros or dollars to get started.
Yeah. So, how do you sell metals if you need cash? Let's go on to that.
Yeah.
I would say there's not many people that look at investments and think about their exit, think about the end. And we actually now think about we start with the end in mind, because you don't want to get a great deal at the beginning to find out you can't sell it and realize your profit at the other end. That would be a disaster. So again, the way that we do it, what we've found is when we have metals that are LBMA metals, they're globally recognized, they're stored in a vault, and they have a track record of where these metals have been. They've come from the refinery into the storage, and they're a known entity. We can sell those metals within 3 clicks. In a heartbeat.
Okay.
Because there's no question marks around the metals. It's very easy for us to do. If you have the metals at home, again, you've got to navigate this yourself. As soon as a company sells you metals and you take them out of their facility, out of their shop or wherever, they are an unknown entity to that business. And they're going to need to test the metals and make sure they are what they say they are before they give you cash. The other element is what price they will give you. Some companies will actually give you, the company we use, they give you the market price for the metals when you sell them back to them. So you get the full gain of your metal you get. Some companies don't. They give you the market price minus a few percent. And again, that's something you have to navigate on your own. So just be aware of what you're doing, where you're storing metals, where you're buying them from, and be aware of the other end of what that could look like. Are metals insured? So we touched on this before. Metals are your safety net. So we think it's worth insuring your safety net. Yeah, to make sure that you're covered no matter what. There was a guy a customer of ours that called us up and said, I've tried to get my metals insured at home. Well, actually, no, let me rewind. He called his insurance company and said, I'm thinking of having metals in my home. I've not done it yet. I'm thinking about it. Would you insure them? And what would the cost be, etc., etc. And he was put on hold for a long time. And the person came back and said, not only will we not insure metals in your home, we're also cancelling your current insurance with us. And he said, okay, but let me just be clear. I've not got metals in my home. I'm just inquiring. I'm just asking. This is just something I'm thinking of doing. And they said, we fully understand, but because you've asked us, we are cancelling your insurance. Which is very extreme. In our experience, we've never seen anybody or heard of anybody that's been able to insure metals within their home. That for us is not a good thing. We don't want them not to be insured. We don't want to run that risk. So again, we have them in the vault, 99% of them, and they're insured. Yeah. And it just gives us that peace of mind.
Yeah, even if you could insure them, it would cost you an arm and a leg anyway.
Yeah.
It would cost you far too much money to actually have them insured. Your metals are your financial insurance. So your financial insurance needs to be insured. And they are in a vault.
The way that we do it, the worst case scenario, people would pay 80 cents per month for every €1,000 that they have in storage.
Tiny, isn't it?
Tiny, absolutely tiny. And that's for storage, insurance, and or independent auditing. That covers all of those things.
That's hardly.
Yeah, so small. Okay, what purity of metal should I buy? We only buy 24 karat 99.99% pure. The 4 nines, that's what you want to look out for. This is the top grade metals that you can get on the market. This is investment grade. And this is when James was saying before, we had people coming up to us at the beginning of our journey saying, I found some metal that is cheaper than where you're buying from. We said, okay, let's look into it. And it turned out that it was 22 karat metal. So the purity of the gold was not the same. Look, you might be able to make some money with 22, 18 karat, 14 karat gold, but it's a bit of a different sector of the market. We just stick to what is simple. We want as few moving parts as possible. We just say, look, if we stick to the top stuff, then we know we can sell it without any question. We can just sell it in a heartbeat, and we don't even need to think about where we're going to sell it because it's recognized globally. So again, it's about just keeping it simple. Most people are busy enough, kept busy, we think, on purpose, so that they can't look into this stuff. So just don't clog your brain with things you don't need to know. Keep it simple, buy the top stuff, and you'll be okay. What tax do we have to pay on metals? So tax is a big umbrella. We have to say, look, we're not tax advisors, we're not accountants, so none of this is advice. In most countries, like we said, there's the VAT on the white metals, silver, palladium, and platinum, but there's a way you can navigate that legally, as we've said. The other thing is often capital gains tax, and this is where you make a profit on your metals, and you have to pay a certain percentage on that profit. Most people, in our experience, can actually navigate capital gains depending on which country you're in and what the rules are, and not have to pay much or any at all. So please be aware of this. Do your own research. Speak to someone that really knows the tax in your country, and just be aware. It's usually I think Scandinavian countries are slightly different from what I remember, but in most countries, it's about when you come to sell those metals, when you would pay any capital gains tax. But you can be creative and spread it out over time, and that usually helps. So there is a way to navigate it. Let's put it that way. What size bar should you buy? Many different bars. We've gone from bars and coins. Let's say you say, yes, I want bars, but which bar? There's so many, which is the best? Well, think about a line, a straight line like this. And at one end, you've got a 1 gram bar. Tiny. It's about as big as a phone SIM card. Tiny, thin little thing. These are the most expensive per gram, but they are the most flexible. So let's say you bought 1,000 1 gram bars. You have the flexibility that you can trade and sell 1 gram at a time. You don't have to sell the whole amount. You sell 1 gram at a time, but you've paid a lot for that metal. If you take the other end of the scale, you could have a kilo bar, 1,000 grams, that would be very competitively priced compared to the 1 gram bars, but you have no flexibility. Let's say a kilo bar is around 60,000 euros, roughly, and you want 5,000 euros. You have to sell the whole thing. You can't snap a little bit off and sell part of it. You have to sell the whole amount, which you might not want to do. So which is the best? We actually have something kind of in the middle. It has a good price and actually more flexibility than the 1 gram bars. We buy something, it's called fractional ownership. And all that means is we buy part of a larger bar.
Okay.
It's like buying an apartment in an apartment complex. You don't own the whole complex, but you own your apartment within that. And that comes with some massive advantages. One of those is that we can buy and sell down to the penny. We don't have to buy in 1 gram, 5 gram, 10 gram, kilo bars. We can buy and sell down to the penny. Huge advantage. Brings flexibility to us, and it means that we can use our metals account like almost like a gold bank account. You know, we don't have to buy and sell in set denominations. Also, it gives us flexibility to do things like switching as well, because switching individual bars gets a little bit complicated.
We wouldn't be able to switch otherwise, Adam, would we? And
No.
create free metals. That's something else we want to talk to you about in the future. But we wouldn't be able to do that without doing it this way.
So just work out where you want to be along that line. Do you want 100% flexibility but zero competitive pricing? Do you want great 100% competitive pricing but no flexibility? Or do you want something kind of in the middle? And for us, every way we've looked at it, buying part of a larger bar ticks the majority of the boxes that you would need.
And that part of a bar is allocated to you, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It's all serialized and allocated to you and you only.
Yeah. We'll show you as well, Wim, in another video. We went to we went inside one of the vaults, and we actually went in the vault and held the metal, the bars that we own part of, and we matched it up with our accounts. So our account says you own this serial bar number, blah, blah, blah. We held that metal and we took a picture of them both side by side. We'll show you that. So we know it's real. Okay, so can you buy metals with crypto? Whether you love crypto or hate crypto, I think everyone would agree to some degree crypto is all going to be part of all of our lives in the future, whatever that might look like, whether it be stable coins or Bitcoin or Ethereum or a coin we've never even heard of yet.
The blockchain is coming, guys. You know that.
Exactly. Yeah. Blockchain technology is very interesting. It's here to stay. Yeah. So we think it's worth setting yourself up where you can move between metals and crypto. Can you buy metals with crypto? Just to be prepared so that when all this does change over and crypto is maybe more dominant than fiat currency, that you have an option to move between them. Just get something to think about. Get ahead of the curve with that. Okay, the last thing. Hopefully people are still with us. Before I end this point, at the end of this point, I'm going to tell you how you can get some free metals as well, wherever you are in the world. So just bear with us for this last point. Which brand of metals do you buy? Again, when we first started buying metals, it's almost like going into a sweet shop. You're overwhelmed with options. Bars, coins, gold, silver, platinum, palladium, Heraeus, Metalor, PAM. What the heck do you buy? It's too many options. All we would say is when we talked about the LBMA, we just buy metals that are from the LBMA, certified by the LBMA. And these are some brands that are certified. Argo Heraeus, Metalor, PAM, Canadian Mint. And you might say, well, which one of these do you buy? In our opinion, it doesn't matter. You might see a slight price difference between a Heraeus bar and a Metalor bar. Get whichever is the cheapest between them. You know, we're talking about there's no real difference in the metal. It's just two different brands, but the metal is the same. Here's the way that you can tell that the brand doesn't matter. If you call up a company and say, I have 10 grams of gold that's from Heraeus, what price will you give me today? And they'll say, 60 euro, blah, 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 whatever. Then if you say, I also have 10 grams of gold that's Metalor, what price will you give me? They will give you the same price for both. And that proves that the difference between the brands is zero. If they're worth the same when you're selling them, they're worth the same when you're buying them. So just get whichever's the best, whichever's the cheapest. It really makes no difference.
Okay.
So those are our 15 questions that hopefully we've answered. Hopefully people are still with us. Now, if you would like to get some free metals, and I'm sure we all like free things, right, Wim? Something that's free, especially
listen to Adam right now.
Yeah. Let's tune. If you've not listened, if we've lost you on any points before this is the key point. This is the 16th point to make. If you decide that you want to buy some metals and you do it over this festive period, it ends around I think it's on the 27th of December.
27th. Yeah.
From now until then, you can get free metals for making a purchase. It's as easy as that. It's a Christmas promotion. you can get free metals for simply making a purchase. So get in contact with us, click on the link that Wim's got for you, and we will show you how to buy metals and to get some free metals, which is just, it makes sense. You know, you can not pay the VAT on the silver and make your money go further. You can also get the free metals and get more for your money. So these are all things that help. And it's as simple as just making a purchase before the 27th of December. Don't leave it till
it's a great time to get started.
Yeah. If you've already bought metals and you want to buy some more, you can also get some free metals. So it's not just for first-time people, it's for anyone making any purchase wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, if that would be any use to anyone, then let us know, and we'll guide you through the process and get you started.
Click on the link, guys, under the video. You see the link, and
yeah, we'll guide you through it. We'll hold your hand. So,
thank you, Adam. Thank you, James, for this video.
No worries. Hope it's been useful. And if anyone has any questions, please let us know. We're here to help. We've navigated this journey ourselves, and we've helped many people do the same. So, yeah, we'll help you through it.
Thank you very much, guys.
Perfect. Thanks, Wim. Good to chat with you.
Okay.
No problem, Wim. You take care, mate.
I will. You too.
Cheers. See you soon. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, buddy.